This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. And, nothing much more to say. Another frustrating loss at the Rays. We're in a great position to win. And it's been the moral of the story in July and so far 3 days into August. It's been a lot of the same, even though the Rays won yesterday. So, we're going to talk about this frustrating loss, how Boyle was still really good. I have a lot of questions about how they use the bullpen in the middle of the game. And then we're going to look ahead to the biggest road trip that the Rays have this season. And we will know whether the Rays are in the hunt or if the Rays will be out of it by the time this road trip ends. We're going to talk about all of that. But first, we're going to talk about one team took advantage of the other team's mistakes and another one didn't.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Let's start with the Rays. Fifth inning, you get a gift from the Dodgers, an error. First and third, top of the lineup, 1 out, and you don't score. That's inexcusable against the Dodgers. It cannot happen. They're too good. The Rays had an 18-inning scoreless streak throughout the series and lost 2 games. It's crazy to even think about when you give that stat. And there's not a lot to say. And it's the one team took advantage of mistakes, the other one didn't. What did I say on Friday? You cannot walk the Dodgers. They're too good. The Rays walked the Dodgers in the 6th inning. The person that walked came around to score. The Rays walked the Dodgers in the 7th inning. The guy that walked pushed the runner to third. He was able to score. And in the 9th, you walk the 9-hole hitter who eventually comes around to score. Inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. And, that goes into how I thought that the bullpen was kind of misused through a majority of the game as well. But, we'll get to that a little bit later. But the Rays are not good enough to get first and third, nobody out against one of the best pitchers in baseball, or 1 out and against one of the best pitchers in baseball and not score, especially with the top their lineup up. This game, more than any game this series, you felt the loss of Jonathan Aranda. The lineup doesn't feel as long. When Josh Lowe's hitting 4th in the midst of his worst year of his career, it's not ideal. And this is, to me, the game where you felt that loss more than others. And it's not great. It is not great because he's not coming back for this road trip. He's not coming back at the earliest September. So this lineup that you saw plus Chandler Simpson is going to be a lot what you see, and it's going to be on them to have to turn it around. So, to me, the game was that simple. The Dodgers took advantage of the Rays' mistakes. The Rays did not take advantage of the Dodgers' mistakes. And the mistakes aren't, these game-changing errors. Walks are mistakes. The Rays today, after not walking anyone yesterday, walked 5 guys. 3 of those walks became consequential. That's more than half. That is absolutely not good enough against a team that's good. Now, when the Rays go out west, they go to Anaheim, they go to Seattle, they go to Sacramento to play Oakland, or to play the A's, and then they finish up with the Giants. The Rays should win 3 of those series. If they win 3 of those series, they can be back in the hunt. But, we talked about it. We talked about it yesterday. It's not about winning 6 in a row. It's, can the Rays win 8 of 10, right? Can they win 7 of 10? Right now, they're 1-1 in our little 10-game sample size. Can they win 7 or 8 out of 10? If they do, they'll be right back in the race. If they don't, there's not going to be a lot to play for in September. But Joe Boyle, I thought, was really good. And for the most part, he was in the zone. He walked 2 guys over 5 innings, but for the most part, he was in the zone. Only 2 strikeouts, which is kind of not Joe Boyle-esque, but he got a lot of soft contact. And then I hope they're building him back up. I hope this isn't a Drew Rasmussen thing where he only goes 5 innings on 70 pitches, because I thought he should have gone another inning, and that would have helped out. That would have helped out this bullpen a little bit more, because I'm just going to get into it now. With Mason Engler, he has pitched more than 1 inning 1 time since June 14th, and now you're asking him to do it on one of the hottest days of the year, where the fatigue is even higher, and you're asking him to do it against the best lineup in baseball, in the top half of the best lineup in baseball. I just don't get it. You saw that he was fatigued. You saw that he was missing, and he got, frankly, bailed out with a double play, or else I thought it would have been worse. He only ended up giving 1 run, but I thought that run could have been avoidable if they just went away from him a little bit sooner. And I thought, looking back, that is just that's just not ideal. Not ideal at all for the Rays, where a lot of their bullpen guys are healthy. I would have gone to Montgomery to face Shohei. and you kind of roll from there. But they decide to. I knew they're going to go Baker and Jax at some point, but I don't get letting Engler throw almost 50 pitches. I just don't get it. I get the bullpen. I get that. You said it was down today. Clevenger's down today. I get it, but it's frustrating. Frustrating for sure that the Rays, who I thought played well. I mean, think about the catches. Mangum had 2 insane catches and left. DeLuca had a crazy catch and right, and it's just almost right. And I feel like the Rays are going to break through and win 5 of 6 coming up here soon, and they have some very winnable games coming up, and where they should be able to if they want to. Right, it's all about want to for this team. If they do, I think they can still be in a position to contend for that last playoff spot. But just like the first bullet point says, another very, very frustrating loss for the Rays, and that's just kind of been the meta during this stretch right now. And I don't know how the Rays are going to get out of it. It's on them. They have all the pieces, and it's when you have to rely on your lineup, on your rotation and your pitching to hold the other team like 2 or less runs, you're going to lose a lot of games. The Rays, again, it was very similar to the Cincinnati series. Like the Rays won a game here. 4 runs over 3 days, not good enough. Getting shut out twice in 3 days, not good enough. This Dodgers bullpen is not a bunch of world beaters, right? They have like almost a 4.5 ERA as a bullpen. So the Rays not being able to get to them, like, yes, I get Yamamoto is one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's been really good recently as well. But you still had chances against him, couldn't come through. And this bullpen, you just have to mount something, and it's kind of incredible how quickly the Rays can go down. I always preach the shutdown inning after the Rays score. After the other team scores, it feels like the Rays very rarely during this stretch, not the whole season, during this little stretch run, have been able to punch back and score after the other team scores to kind of get the momentum back. And I think that's baseball is a game with a lot of momentum, and the Rays just don't have the momentum right now. But we're gonna really look ahead to this next stretch, to this 2-week-long road trip, and talk a little bit more about this lineup, and then we'll get to your guys' comments as we always do right after this. This episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink minus alcohol into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest. Some days at the course, at the workplace, at home, at the baseball field, or off it, you just need that little extra boost to stay sharp and organized. And a lot of this is more important than ever. The Rays are going on that West Coast trip. I still need you guys in here for the postcast. 5-Hour Energy is the perfect time to the perfect thing to use to get you that extra little boost to get to that 12:30 a.m. postcasts. And if you go to 5hourenergy.com to get today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LockedOnGolf to receive 20% off your order. This order is only valid until September 30th. On one order cannot be used with other promotion. This code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. So I really want to take some time to look ahead to this road trip that the Rays have coming up, because I think it's the biggest turning point of the season. If the Rays want to turn it around and have a good August, just like that, a bad September, it's on them right now. It's a lot of really winnable series. You play the Angels for 3. That's a series that the Rays should be able to take 2 out of 3 of. You play Seattle. Seattle is really good. That's the hardest series in this. But you face Castillo, Evans, and Wu. Castillo and Evans, really good. It's a pitcher's ballpark there. Expect some low-scoring games there, but again, still a winnable series for the Rays. You play the Athletics. That has to be a winning series, 100%. And of course, you face Springs and Lopez, who had success against the Rays when they faced him at Steinbrenner. And then you go to San Francisco to face the Giants. Again, another winnable series. Has been one of the coldest teams in the NL. They've kind of been on the same stretch as the Rays. But let's look ahead. We get to see Aiden Hauser for the first time in a Rays uniform. For those of you who hasn't been too familiar with Hauser, he's had an interesting journey. He only pitched 9 combined games within a 3-year stretch, and then kind of came on the scene in 2019 and has been a mainstay ever since. He's had a great year so far for the White Sox. He's 6-2 with a 2.1 ERA. He's been really good. His last time out was against the Cubs, that potent lineup. He went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. He's given up 3 runs both of his last 2 starts. So again, all you're looking for is your pitchers give you a quality start. 6 innings, 3 runs or less, and you should put yourself in position to win a lot of those games. The Rays will be facing Yusei Kikuchi, who they faced originally. And in that game, Jose Caballero hit the opposite field grand slam. That was that game against the Angels. The Rays were actually going to win. But he's the Angels' best pitcher. His last time out, he kind of got roughed up. He's given up his July was the worst month of his season. He had almost a 5 ERA in July. Last time out against the Rangers, 5 1/3, 10 hits, 3 earned. So the Rays will be facing 2 lefties just in the first series against the Angels, and then all righties against Seattle. So the Rays are going to have to figure it out against lefties, kind of like they did against Snell, and that's going to require Brandon Lau to hit left on left a lot, which he's shown a little bit more progress of since he's gotten back from the injury, but he's going to have to do that a lot more. Same with guys like Jake Mangum. He's going to have to hit from the right side better than he has. He's someone that we know he's been better from the left side than the right side this season, but the splits are pretty drastic. So just to give you guys some perspective, his splits against lefties, he's hitting 215 against lefties, 311 versus righties. So he's another guy that I'm looking at. Him, Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau. If those guys can kind of hit consistently against lefties, then then I feel like the Rays could be in a good spot. But now let's get to the comments. We'll go to Gary. Hope for Tampa Bay Rays fans. 1 year ago today, the Detroit Tigers were 52-57. They're 7.5 games back in the wild card with 4 teams ahead of them. They finished 34-90, and they won a wild card series with a record of 86-76. It's not over for the Rays. It's not. But this series is going to go a long way in determining if it is. As we go to Gary, again, this is an interesting question. In the opening wild card best of 3, do you think that the lower seeded team should have one of the 3 games at the home ballpark, or should they stay at what it is? I think they should stay as it is because you need to reward the regular season. There's no more grueling regular season in any professional sport like there is in baseball. And I don't think we do a good enough job rewarding teams for the regular season. You play 162 games and they did it better. You should just be 1 game for the wild card. Now it's 3, then 5, then obviously the last 2, 7. So I like how it is right now. Let's go to Michael saying something I don't agree with. He says absolutely zero faith that Yandy was going to get it done. It's predictable. He's going to ground out. I will say, second half of that, he has to leave majors and ground outs to shortstops. I've watched almost every Rays pitch this year. He always grounds out to the shortstop. But I had the most faith. I have more faith in Yandy hitting with bases loaded, 2 outs down 3 than any player on this team. So I would want him up there every single time. As we go to Gary Wilkerson, he said best part of this game was Magna making a couple of good catches. Yeah, the one on Freeman in the 9th was crazy. Let's go to Mike. This is something that's not true. It's almost impossible to watch the game start at 10 p.m. on the West Coast. Thankfully for us, the games against the Angels start at 9:40. So boom, you don't have to wait till 10. They start at 9:40. And I will be in attendance in Anaheim Tuesday and Wednesday. So there'll still be a postcast. Don't worry. The hotel we're staying at is right next to the stadiums. But I'll have some behind-the-scenes coverage on my Twitter. So, again, make sure you guys go follow there in Anaheim. And this is the attitude we need, Mike. Gary says, looking for a late-night baseball with the Rays and Jonathan on the postcast. Exactly. The Rays kind of turned their season around the first part with a West Coast road trip with Arizona and San Diego. Let's hope that they can do it again. And Sarah says, not scoring with runners in scoring position costing them. Someone said, I think it might have been Mike said, there's no one. I don't want more don't want up with first and base loaded, whatever with Yandy. Whenever the Rays get first and third with 1 out specifically, I just don't have faith that they're going to score. I really don't, and that's bad because it's feeling like it did last year. The Rays could never get that runner in from third, and it's something they've been a lot better at. But during these last 10 games, it's something they've really struggled with. As we go to Douglas Bautista, he says, why is Tristan Gray pinch hitting in the 9th? I think that they wanted that power to tie the game, if I'm being completely honest with you. That Tristan Gray, who profiles that he can hit righties pretty well, and that short porch out there with the favorable hitting conditions today that, you get into one and it only needs to travel 330 feet and it's a tie game. So I think that that is the majority of it. As we go to Jordan Fowler, keep your head up, y'all. We will bounce back. I hope so, and I hope it starts with this road trip because this road trip is going to be the biggest determining factor if the Rays, like Gary said, can pull a Tigers and bounce back. And, they need it. 3 very winnable series. The Seattle series will be tough. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Seattle's a really good team. They have maybe the best full rotation in baseball. But the other 3 series, God, this is a long road trip. Yeah, the other 3 series, very winnable. And it starts in Anaheim. Go 2-1 at Anaheim, and then go from there. You'll probably need a sweep mixed in there. But if you win 3 out of 4 series, you come back and you face the Cardinals and Yankees, I think you'll be in a pretty good spot. Again, not a lot of world beaters out there. Anaheim, San Francisco, the A's, teams that you can take advantage of. So make sure you guys rest up. Make sure you guys get some good sleep tonight, because they'll need our support, and I don't need you guys' support on the postcast, even on the West Coast. So if you guys are in here, before we get out of here, make sure you guys leave a like. We'll see you guys tomorrow night again. So the game starts at 9:40 Eastern. So postcast probably going to be around midnight. So some late night with the Rays coming up soon. I hope to see you guys there.